Once upon a time, at the edge of a wide green valley, there stood a small, crooked cottage. Time had bent its wooden walls, and the roof sagged like tired shoulders. Inside lived a poor widow and her only son, Jack, a cheerful, kind-hearted boy with curious eyes and a hopeful smile. Their only true treasure was a gentle brown cow named Milky White, whose milk kept them alive through many hard seasons. But as the months passed, the cow gave less and less milk. The pantry grew empty, the fire burned weakly, and hunger lingered in every corner of the cottage. One cold morning, Jack's mother sighed deeply. "Jack," she said softly, "we have no food left and no money. Take Milky White to the market and sell her. Whatever you get must keep us alive." Jack nodded bravely, though his heart felt heavy. He hugged his mother, took the rope, and led Milky White down the road toward the village market, unaware that his life was about to change forever. As Jack walked along the winding road, he reached a bend shaded by tall oak trees. There, he met a strange little man wearing a green cloak and a knowing smile. "That's a fine cow you have," the man said, his eyes twinkling. Jack explained his mission, to sell the cow for food. The man nodded thoughtfully, then reached into his pocket and revealed 5 small beans. "These are magic beans," he whispered. "Plant them tonight, and by morning you'll see wonders beyond imagination." Jack hesitated. Beans for a cow seemed foolish, but something in the man's voice felt powerful, ancient, true. After a long pause, Jack traded Milky White for the beans and hurried home, clutching them tightly. When Jack showed the beans to his mother, her face fell. "Magic beans," she cried. "You've traded our last hope for nonsense." In anger and despair, she threw the beans out the window. Jack went to bed ashamed, listening to his mother's quiet sobs in the dark. But when dawn arrived, a strange green light filled Jack's room. He rushed to the window and gasped. Outside stood a giant beanstalk, thick as a tree trunk, spiraling high into the clouds, its leaves glowing like emerald glass. The beans were magic! Jack cried. Before fear could stop him, curiosity took hold. Jack began to climb. Higher and higher Jack climbed, until the world below shrank into tiny patches of color. At last, he reached a land above the clouds, a place of silver paths and singing winds. In the distance stood a massive castle. At its gate, Jack met a giantess with kind eyes. "I'm hungry and far from home," Jack said politely. She hesitated. "My husband is a giant. He would eat you if he knew. Still, pity won." She hid Jack just as the giant returned, roaring his terrible rhyme. Soon, the giant fell asleep beside a sack of gold. Jack crept out, took a small bag of coins, and fled back down the beanstalk. The gold saved Jack and his mother. They repaired the cottage and lived comfortably, for a while. But gold fades faster than hope. When the last coin was spent, Jack looked up at the beanstalk once more. Despite his mother's fear, Jack climbed again. This time, he stole a magical hen that laid golden eggs at the command of the word, lay. Now they were truly safe, or so it seemed. Though wealth filled their home, Jack felt restless. Something unfinished pulled at his heart. "One last time," he promised. On his final climb, Jack found the greatest treasure of all, a golden harp that could sing and speak. When Jack lifted it, the harp cried out, waking the giant. The giant chased Jack down the beanstalk, shaking the sky with his rage. "Mother, bring the axe," Jack shouted. As the giant descended, Jack swung with all his strength. With a thunderous crack, the beanstalk split. The giant fell, roaring, until he vanished forever. Silence returned to the valley. From that day on, Jack and his mother lived in peace. The hen laid golden eggs. The harp filled their home with gentle music. But Jack never forgot what he had learned. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to climb despite it. And sometimes, the greatest adventures begin with nothing more than a handful of magic beans.